Alright, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about something that a lot of you who've been in my community or have just been involved in lefty politics for a while now will probably see as rehashing really old territory, like really old ground. Because this originally was like a whole discourse back in like 2017, 2018, 2019, but it's kind of come around again, but those that are pushing it are taking advantage of most people being somewhat not really caught up or in the know about the dog whistle here, or really what dog whistles are even, in order to get away with this. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a history lesson, and then I'm going to go over what happened recently. So first we have to talk about dog whistles. What is a dog whistle? I'm not talking about a whistle that blows at a frequency that only dogs can hear, or that upsets them, or I guess I don't really know what like dog whistles that you blow into are meant for. I think they like upset dogs because only dogs can hear the whistle because it's so high pitched or something. I'm not even sure. Regardless, we're not talking about that. In politics, a dog whistle is the use of coded or suggestive language in political messaging to garner support from a particular group without provoking opposition. The concept is named after ultrasonic dog whistles, which are audible to dogs but not humans. Dog whistles use language that appears normal to the majority, but communicates specific things to intended audiences. They are generally used to convey messages on issues likely to provoke controversy without attracting any negative attention. So the idea behind this is basically to allow yourself to express a shitty opinion without like outright expressing it. So basically in code, you're expressing you have a shitty opinion to other people who are in on it, but in such a way that centrists and like left-wing people and normies don't get what you're talking about, so they don't understand that what you're saying is so stupid that they should be bullying you for saying it, right? So, with that said, I'm going to talk about, and this is going to complicate things a little bit because we're talking about dogs, I'm going to talk about one of the most common dog whistles conservatives used back on the internet, like by conservatives, I mean Nazis, actually, like actual neo-Nazis. One of the most common dog whistles neo-Nazis used on the internet, particularly back during 2019, and that was the pit bull dog whistle. For those of you guys that don't know, pit bulls are a dog breed that, particularly here in America, have a very violent reputation. Many American pit bulls were bred through lines of fighting dogs, like pit bull fighting, right? Where they would, they'd have two pit bulls fight in a ring or in a pit, in a literal pit. That's why pit bull, right? And they would fight and they would literally bet on it, like bet on which dog would win, right? And basically pit bulls over time have garnered a very violent reputation. There's a lot that goes into this. There are a lot of experts who broke it down, but my understanding of it is that there is a small genetic factor that plays into the behavior of pit bulls. You see, pit bulls have been genetically bred for generations upon generations upon generations. Remember, we're talking about dogs here, much shorter lifespans, much shorter gestation, a lot more generations, in a shorter period of time. Pit bulls, many of them at least in America, have been bred for the purpose of fighting and violence. Beyond that, though, many pit bull owners seek out pit bulls due to a sort of feeding into the cycle of the stereotype, right? Pit bull owners will seek out violent, angry-looking pit bulls that seem like they will serve the purpose of being a tough, angry, scary-looking dog, because that's what they're looking for, and those are the dogs that end up getting adopted out more. That is not to say there aren't plenty of pit bulls out there that are very friendly and very nice, but there is some percentage, it's like 8% genetic. Yeah, I don't know. It's like there is some percentage of genetic factors that make pit bulls behave the way they do. Not because pit bulls themselves, the species, the breed, are more prone to violence, but because more pit bulls have been bred for that purpose, right? So obviously breeders are selectively breeding for pit bulls that have higher aggression, right? Higher rates of testosterone or just random shit that makes dogs more likely to be aggressive. You're also obviously selectively breeding for sharper, bigger teeth, all the things that would, bigger mouth, stronger bite force, just things that would make it so these dogs would be scarier and more violent, right? These dogs have specifically been bred for a very long time for that purpose, right? Nazis for a very long time have tried to use the argument that Now, they don't believe what I just told you. Most Nazis do not believe all of the nuance that I just explained to you. They believe pit bulls are an inherently violent dog because that's what they're bred for, and that's just what it is. We accept that pit bulls are violent. So, and they would argue, why don't we accept that some types of humans could be more violent? They argue that pit bulls being, they argue, genetically predisposed to violence is an example of evidence that certain types of humans could be genetically predisposed to violence. By that they mean brown people, specifically black people. There is a specific stereotype that this leads back to. They call it the African warrior gene. This idea that black people who come from Africa have this inherent predisposition to anger, anti-social behavior, violence, crime, anything like that. They basically try to use pit bulls as a through-line justification for their beliefs about black people, right? And it is obviously them trying to use some sort of pseudoscience to justify their racism, because you look a lot less stupid as a racist if your racism is based in facts and science instead of you just kind of feel like brown people are icky, you know? That's why so many modern-day racists feel the need to find some weird excuse for why they are racist, and it's okay. There's actually tons of logical explanations behind why you should be racist. That's what they basically try to argue. So, with that said, knowing that most conservative pundits nowadays are racist, at the very least thinly veiled racist, let's take a look at a tweet from Matt Walsh that kind of went viral over the last couple days. Quote tweeting a story about a 7-year-old Louisiana girl getting mauled to death in a yard by a neighbor's pit bull. Pretty horrific, obviously. Quote tweets it saying, "Pit bulls should be banned, and there is no sane argument to the contrary. They are dangerous animals responsible for a vastly disproportionate number of fatal maulings in this country. The fact that you think they are cute dogs does not outweigh the danger. Ban them." Maybe you could agree with this argument, on the merit of what's been provided here, but I'd like to remind you, this man does not believe that guns should be banned. All of this same logic applies to guns. I don't even believe that guns should be banned. This is an anti-libertarian take, okay? The objectively correct solution to this problem is to encourage better pet ownership. Now, you may be imagining right now, okay, well, there must be a massive problem with pit bulls mauling people and killing people, right? Now, maulings are a fairly larger problem, but killings, not so much. Pit bulls kill 23 Americans a year. Horses kill 100. This is true. I Googled it. Pit bulls kill less people per year than horses. Or Americans per year than horses. And yet you don't see anybody complaining about how horses should be banned. If anything, horses are kind of deified as a sort of masculine, manly mode of transportation. Hell yeah, brother, ride a horse. Horses aren't real, Zan. That is true. They are just little spy robots that kind of clop around and take surveillance of you. There are more horses, Zan. That's probably true, but there's still more deaths being caused by horses. 23 deaths to 100? From an animal that is being kept domestically. If you argue that one should be banned, then the other should be banned too. This guy also does not believe that guns should be banned. This is not a consistent position. The reason why he's in favor of the banning of pit bulls is because it kind of plays into the overall dog whistle that surrounds the pit bull topic of, can we legislate a living thing based on its genetics? That is the goal there. They want to basically set a precedent, a standard for legislating against a living thing based on its genetics, because they believe that genetics will lead to it engaging in a behavior. This is Minority Report shit. This is using computers and shit to try to predict crimes that haven't happened yet, and then trying to pre-punish those people before said crime is committed, even though there's a chance it doesn't get committed. It's definitely really weird. However, I think the final video I want to bring up is sort of a showcase of why pit bulls are so dangerous, okay? A lot of dogs have different reputations, right? Chihuahuas, for example. Type in chat, without any provocation from me, what stereotype you have in your mind of Chihuahuas. Yappy, loud and bitchy. Yappy little bitches, angry, evil, bitey, more violent than any other. Loud, yappy, overgrown rats, annoying little shitters. Satans, annoying, yippy little bastards, annoying little rats, bark and will bite, always evil. Here's the thing about yappy, bitey little Chihuahuas, and obviously there are plenty of nice Chihuahuas out there, but a lot of them have a massive fucking attitude. Here's the thing about little Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas aren't really dangerous, are they? They can bite you and leave, break the skin a little bit, but I've been bitten pretty hard by Chihuahuas, and there's not much they can do. You make a nice fist and they bite your knuckles, there's not much they're doing. It's not even... A cat bite is worse. Having a cat that likes to play rough with you is worse than a Chihuahua bite. A Chihuahua that wants to bite you. They literally make a habit out of nipping at your fucking heels when you're walking around, okay? The issue is that Chihuahuas are small, and they don't really have much in the way of the ability to hurt you, right? They're very small creatures. So we don't really care about their temperament, or the fact that a lot of people get them as family dogs with kids and then said, kids, do what kids do with the dog, and the dogs have very short, patience and end up biting. With a Chihuahua, it's not as big a deal. But with a pit bull, well, let's watch the video.
No.
Terrible parenting, very good pit bull ownership there that he immediately stopped the kid and then pulled the dog away with very good timing and reaction speed. Most pit bull maulings that have occurred were from situations like this. Pit bulls have a nickname as nanny dogs, basically, where they were known for being pretty good with kids, but in America, a lot of them were bred for pit fighting. And a lot of people will get them as family dogs, and kids will do shit that kids do, and let's just say the dog might snap. And if the dog snaps and it's a pit bull, there's a much higher chance of getting hurt than if it's, like a Chihuahua or a Pomeranian, or hell, German Shepherds. I've seen videos where German Shepherds let kids basically stick their fingers in their ears and they're fine with it, right? Because they're just more, they're larger, more chill dogs, and kids have a harder time actually hurting them or annoying them, right? But pit bulls are in this area where they're small enough that a kid could still kind of fuck with them a bit, but they're big enough to actually hurt a kid or hurt a person, right? They're in, in terms of size, that sort of dangerous medium zone, I don't know. I think the pit bull issue is definitely complicated, but I think that everybody who advocates for banning pit bulls or euthanizing them none of those people who agree with that believe in banning guns. And there are a lot of parallels there, okay? It really just feels like pit bulls are this sort of social... it really feels like it's dog racism. It's dog racism. Is it not literally just dog racism? People just want an excuse to be racist, and you can socially get away with being racist towards a type of dog. What? How much of a loser do you have to be racist against a type of dog? Breedism. It's funnier to call it dog racism. Okay, it's just funnier to call it dog racism. I used to joke about my dog being racist against other breeds of dog. My Pomeranian hated poodles, my Pomeranian had made up slurs for poodles and would rant about those French curly bastards, I'd make jokes about the racist jokes my dog would make about other dog breeds, Conservatives are actually taking that and doing it, but for real, Anyway. If you enjoyed the segment, I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on all of this. Please comment down below if you have any particular opinions you want to let me know about. I'm curious to read the comments on this one. I want to know what you guys think of this. I'm curious to hear your input. You can also subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video here on YouTube. And of course, don't forget to turn on all don't forget to like the video as well. It really helps out my content and my VODs and my videos and all of that, right? My channel overall. And of course, if you want to see more from me, not on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching on, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And finally, if you want to support me financially, you can do so quite easily by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, by hitting one of the buttons up there in the top left, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.